Hello, everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. So, I thought today I would actually show you what my kitchen looks like, the part that I'm normally in. So, usually I show you this background over here behind me where I have my spices and my flour and sugar and stuff like that. But you usually only get to see like a little bit of this. Now, I get that it is messy and I probably shouldn't be showing it to you in this state. I promise you it was clean yesterday. But my husband has been in here. So it has gotten a little bit dirty today. We didn't have time to clean it up just yet. But I wanted to introduce this next upcoming recipe for you because it's one that I think you are going to enjoy. Also, do you like how the top of my fridge is blue and the bottom of my fridge is white? There's a reason for that. But anyway, I wanted to introduce this next recipe to you. This is going to be my recipe for granola bites. Now, I really like this recipe because this year I've been trying to cut back on refined sugars and just kind of keep an eye on that because my husband and I have noticed that we feel much better when we are sticking to natural sugars as opposed to a refined sugar. So I've been working with a lot of recipes that use no refined sugar, and this is one that I found that I absolutely thought was worth sharing. The thing that I like about this recipe is that it is very customizable. There's a lot of things that you could change up about it. You can change up the flavors that are in it. Today, I'm going to be showing you a white chocolate macadamia cranberry version of it, but you can very easily just change this up to have, say, dark chocolate chips in it or peanuts, or like the options that you have here are endless. You can make so many flavor combinations out of it. And it's a very satisfying snack. If you want something sweet, if you kind of are craving something like a baked good, but you don't want a baked good, this is gonna kind of fill that void for you. It is hearty. It is good for you. There's just so much good going on in this recipe. So let's go ahead and get started. So the very first thing that we're going to do is make a little bit of oat flour. So I'm measuring out 2 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats and just putting that into my food processor. And I'm just going to blitz that until it is nice and powdery and floury. You don't have to be like super exact with it, but once it's about the consistency of flour. And then we're going to go ahead and just put that into a mixing bowl, and to that we are going to add 1 more cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. And then to that we are going to add 1/2 cup of almond flour, and then I am going to add 2/3 of a cup of desiccated coconut. This is unsweetened. You can use sweetened if you prefer. And then I'm just going to mix all of that together so it's all nice and combined in there, and then we're going to set this off to the side. So now for our wet ingredients, we're going to use 1/2 cup of coconut oil, 1/2 cup of maple syrup, and 1/2 cup of whatever kind of nut butter you want to use. I was using sunflower seed butter, but you can use almond butter or peanut butter or whatever you like. And all of this is just getting put into a small saucepan. I'm going to add a couple pinches of salt. I think adding it here gives it a chance to kind of dissolve throughout, but you could absolutely just add it with the dry ingredients as well. Now we're going to put this on a medium-low heat, and what we're looking for to happen, we want our coconut oil to completely melt down, and we basically want that nut butter to kind of cover everything. Everything should be cohesive by the time we take this off the heat. So after we've gotten to that point, we want to just turn off the heat and add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. stir that in, and then we are going to just put this right in the bowl with our dry ingredients and mix everything together. This should coat everything. You shouldn't have any streaks of oat flour left or anything like that. And it should be really nice and combined and basically kind of clumpy when you're done. Now for the fun part, which is our mix-ins. I am using about half a cup of dried cranberries in here, and you could swap that out for any kind of dried fruit that you like. There's a lot of fun combinations that you could do with that. And then I'm also adding in about half a cup of just some rough chopped macadamia nuts. If you don't prefer nuts, you can absolutely just leave these out. You don't need to put those in there. And then I am also adding in about 1 cup of Lily's white chocolate chips. Truthfully, I added in the whole bag, so it was closer to 2 cups, but that was way too much. So stick to about 1 cup of whatever kind of chocolate chip you're using. And just kind of mix that in to make sure that it's all combined and you have the mix-ins throughout. Now you just want to line a casserole dish with either some parchment paper or wax paper, just something that's going to make it easy to pull these out. I used an 8x11 casserole dish. The size doesn't really matter so much as just having a dish that you can kind of tamp this down into. So we're just going to pour the granola bite mixture in there, and then you really want to give this some nice pressure. So I just went in there with my hand and pressed this down nice and solid. That's going to help everything stick together. Then I just covered this and put this in my fridge for about an hour. And then it's nice and easy to take out with that parchment paper there. And I'm just going to start cutting it with my bench scraper. I cut it into basically bars first, strips, what have you, and then just into bites. You really don't need much of this to be satisfied, so a bite really is the perfect size for these. So don't cut yours too large because you really do not need that much. It's quite satisfying with all of the oats and the good things in there, but it's pretty dense, so you don't need a whole big bite of that. And I just store these in mason jars. This recipe fills up 3 large mason jars for me, and I will basically freeze 2 of those and then keep 1 jar in my fridge for when I need a quick snack. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a comment or a like. I really appreciate it, and have a great day.